How's it going? Galore Wrestling Figures here. Welcome to another video. Today I've got a bit of a different one for you all. Today I'm going to be answering the question, is this pack the worst AEW figure? So this pack is the unrivaled free AEW pack, and this figure, when it came out, it was one of the easy ones to get because Series 1 of the AEW Unrivaled figures, they were quite hard to get. Series 2 was nearly impossible, whereas this one, Series 3, is sort of when they started to become more available and easier to get. And I got this when it first came out for £20 retail. I think it was from Smith's, and it came out about the start of 2021, I want to say. And the reason I'm showing this now is because I do want to answer the question, but also I do need a couple more of these for some CM Punk customs, so I thought, why not show this now? So, of course, here's the figure. I have got one loose as well, and this is the mock one. So, without any further ado, let's take a look at this figure and answer the question. So, of course, here's the box. Series 3 Unrivaled, one of the earlier ones, number 19. Of course, you see the figure quite well there. Of course, normal box. Sorry, the full box don't fit in the frame. That's my fault. Of course, there's pack there. See the figure quite well. Of course, I'll show that side. Of course, there's pack number 19. And I'm not sure if they still do them, but I remember some AEW figures, the boxes, they've got a letter on. You put them together and it sort of spells a word. I think I remember Series 1 Unrivaled being Elite. But I might be wrong on that. But yeah, that was quite cool what they did there. There's the back of the box, of course. And to be honest, I'm not the biggest Pac fan. I don't mind him, I'm just not too big of a fan. I think he's quite good in the ring though. So, here's the back of the box, of course, All Out 2019, where... Who did he face? Was it... I've got terrible memory. Either John Moxley or Kenny Omega, I think. Or was it... I can't even remember who it was. Was it, honestly, Hangman Adam Page for some reason? I can't remember. It will probably come back to me. So, of course, there's his signature, which is quite good. And, of course, here's Unrivaled 3, where we had Pac, Rio, Orange Cassidy, Darby Allin, and the Young Bucks. So, early figures. Yeah, and there it is. So, there it is, mock. And before I do show this loose, personally, I will say now, I don't think this is the worst AEW figure. I'm not sure which figure is, but I don't think it's this. I think it's quite a good figure, and depending on how much you paid for it, you sort of get your value for it, if that makes sense. So if you paid £20 for this now, it probably wouldn't be worth it. But you paid £20 when it released, or you paid, say, £10 now, I think it's a decent price. So, of course, there's the figure, mock. So, let's show you the loose figure now. Here's the pack figure, and you do get a couple of accessories with this. I'll show you these now. We'll start with the chair first. I think this was the first AEW figure to have a chair. Of course, just a normal chair. I don't think these are better than Mattel. They just feel a bit more cheap, and they are quite hard to actually sort of... Like that, it's easy, but I don't know, it's a bit hard sort of to fold up. I think that's the right way, but I will say it probably might look a slight bit better than Mattel, because it has sort of got a bit of a shine finish to it. So there's that. So I think you know, I think it's a decent accessory. I can't remember if he used this in the match or not, so I think that's why they might have included it. But I suppose you need chairs, sort of a good way to get them. Yeah, it's a decent accessory. And of course we do get a spare head as well. Of course, this is sort of the messy hair look that focuses. Got to be careful with these that you don't accidentally snap the hair. You see that? Yeah, there's the hair. And mine, for some reason, it's sort of warped in slightly. I think that's as was on the figure at one point. Focuses. So yeah, there's the spare head. So now, let's go on to the figure itself. Of course, here's the figure. Now, I will say this head scan is not the best. Okay, so the head scan is not the best, but I can definitely see Pac. It does look quite good, because you've got the hair on either side. So I've got like an angry expression there. Yeah, it is quite a good head scan. If you don't like that head scan where you can see his face fully, you can put that one on. That's what it would look like, but I do prefer this one. So there's that. I do remember people, I think, did use this originally for CM Punk Customs, like the full body. I'm wanting to use it for the kick pads, which I'll get to in a minute. But yeah, it is quite a good base for Customs if you're wanting to use it, quite cheap as well. So here's the torso. I think it's the correct torso choice, but you know, Pac's not the biggest guy, so I think it's the right choice. It's not too bad. Because the arms, mine aren't loose or anything, but they do move quite well, quite smooth. So there's that. But for some reason, mine, this is what does annoy me. You look that the arms are sort of out slightly. If that makes sense. You think they should be like that, but they're out like that. So I'm not sure why that's happened. I think it's because they've been in the box. So they're slightly up. But it's not too bad, to be honest. But yeah, there's the trunks. Quite a basic attire, not too bad. Yeah, of course, got grey and black on there. So, of course, here's the sort of lower part, which is the bit I do want to focus on, which people might say is why it's not the best figure. Of course, you have got normal articulation here, but the boots, however, do articulate at the bottom, but not here. So, you're turning this kick pad, the full leg sort of rotates, and it is a bit annoying, hard to display. That's what is off-putting, but, you know, it's not too bad. Because you got the knee pads as well. Of course, the kick pads as well, these are great for customs. Of course, you have got to sort of take out the joint there. It's right there. You take that out, and then, of course, you've got the knee pads, or the kick pads, whatever you want to say. And the boots. But yeah. So there's that. It is, yeah, I think they've definitely used the right mould for this. But, you know, it's not too bad. It's double jointed arms, and for a first figure, it's not too bad. So now, I want to talk for a bit. So there's the figure. So, of course, Pac, he's had another figure, the Unmatched 7. And to be honest, that figure, I do want to say, is probably better. And I think he's got that that free pack with the Lucha Bros coming as well. So he will have a couple of figures soon. However, this figure, as I say, value for money. You do get a couple of accessories, you get a good figure. You pay, say, £10 for this, you've got a bargain. And a couple of pointers I want to point out here. The first thing being, this was one of the early AEW figures. I think, of course, what number was this? Number 19. This was the 19th AEW figure. And, oh, was it the 20th if you're including, say, the Chris Jericho bubbly figure? Does that count as one? Because that was sort of the first AEW figure. Anyway, this was sort of one of the earliest AEW figures, so you can sort of give Jazzwares sort of the credit, because it was sort of the early stages. However, nearly pretty much every single figure in Unravel 2 was perfect. Unravel 3. Unravel 1, although the skin tone had issues, I thought it was a good series. Whereas this, they didn't do the best job with it, but they just still did sort of try, and it is quite good. The other thing I will say is, the reason I don't think this is the worst AEW figure is because we've had so many other figures come out since this. It's been 2 years or something like that. I want to say there's worse figures. This might have been the worst figure at the time when it released. I might agree with you on that, but I want to say now it's definitely not. And of course, if you want to put this at the 5th AEW figure and say a year's time, it might go down to 7th, because there might be other worse AEW figures at release. And now this video by no means is sort of saying Jazzwares are bad. I just want to address this point that, is it the worst AEW figure? No, I don't think it is. I don't think it's the best. 100% don't think it's the best. I'm not sure what that would be. But I do want to say, it is quite good for a figure. You got this at release or now for a good price. It's worth it. And of course, you know, you get a couple of accessories with it. The head, the chair. And overall, it's a decent figure. Articulation's good. And now, I know this figure gets hit by the figure community for being the worst AEW figure. But to be honest, I don't think it's that bad. Yeah, I can't express this enough. I don't think it's too bad. There could have been improvements. I'm not sure what they would have done. Well, I think maybe the only improvement they could have done is upgraded the kick pad so it's a separate piece. maybe a slightly different torso choice, but to be honest, it's not too bad. Now, I would compare this to some AEW figures that I have that I don't think are too good, but to be honest, I'm not gonna, because I'm just want to address my point here that I don't think it's that bad. Because now I will say AEW, they have had a few bad figures. They don't nail the head scans perfectly all the time, but I do want to say that's quite a common issue sometimes they've got, and of course this is sort of one that's sort of been affected by that, but it's not too bad. So yeah, I don't really want to compare this because I don't feel like it's really fair to compare it to other AEW figures that aren't pack, because everything's pretty much different. However, in maybe a year's time, this might be the worst pack figure, because he probably will have a couple by then. But for now, it's definitely not the worst AEW figure. Yeah, there we go. So, yeah, that pretty much wraps it up for the video. I just sort of wanted to just get my point across and say, I don't really think it's the worst AEW figure, but it's not too bad. So, overall, all the talking aside, the answer to the question, is this the worst AEW figure? No. So, there it is. There's my answer. No, it's not the worst AEW figure. So, as I say, thanks for watching. I am starting a couple of customs. I think I am starting one today, so keep your eye out for that on the Instagram. Galore Wrestling Figures on Instagram, or I probably will post them on here as well on YouTube, the progress. And also, one thing I do want to maybe potentially start is, I sort of want to have like a bit of an arena, because I've got some space where it can go, and maybe have a pig fed as well. Let me know how you think about that. I could maybe start a pig fed, or even just maybe some figure photography, but probably a pig fed. That's what I sort of want it for. Always wanted to have one, so I probably might start that. So yeah, let me know down below if you think I should maybe build an arena, have an arena, and start a pig fed. Let me know. Also, any video ideas, because I sort of am struggling for video ideas now. I do need some. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.